Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people, search your soul and you will confess. And while you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployed unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how we evil set up. The people fed up.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
Su. Oh, Su.
Look, let's face reality. He doesn't want to talk about Su. He's running from Su. He's running from you. He's running from the entire country. Some say he's running from the feds because he has according to information, a hefty bank account out in China with hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, US dollars, that is. Now, I don't know whether that's correct or not. He has to tell you whether that is true. But a little bird says that the feds might be on to Barajagdeo and some sort of bank account in China. I don't know how accurate that is, right? Emma, we've got to do some research on that, sweetheart. Good. Just talk to my boss who's in studio with us. But I tell you what, you know, they're running scared, right? They are running scared right now. Everything is corruption upon corruption upon corruption. This is not like a little bit of bingo money missing and so forth and so on from some little bingo hall, right? Francine Cruz, good night to you. Bingo money. This is big money. Big money. Hundreds of millions of dollars missing in the country. And guess what? Barajagdeo comes at a press conference and tries to mamagai you guys, right? Try to think everything is hunky-dory and they're all believe in democracy and everybody else is against them. Give me a break. Get out of here, Barajagdeo. The most corrupt set of vagabonds in that part of the world and probably in the entire world. Okay. Hey, what's happening in your neck of the woods? Mind you, it's Friday. What is it? It's Friday, the 27th day of September. Because you know, Jack Dale said September, and he'll say September. I don't know what Irfan says because he cannot pronounce words. I don't know what he knows to pronounce. But anyways, Keith Beresford and the entire crew, Janice Johnson, all of you guys, good night and welcome to Straight Up. Welcome to Straight Up. Well, you know, Emma just wants to say a quick hi for you guys. It's good. Thank you. It's Friday, and she just has to make her presence. She's happy now, the happiest little girl in the world. I remember long ago, as soon as little kids come around, holy smoke, get out of here, come out of here, I'm going to put my hand on you. Times have changed, guys. Times have changed. All right, what else is happening in your neck of the woods? I know you all are fed up, but if you are fed up, you've got to do something. You've got to do something if you are fed up. Don't just jump up and say, I'm fed up at this and that. Ask yourselves this question. Have you registered to vote? Have you called on your relatives and friends back in Guyana? If you're not in Guyana, have you called on them to register to vote? Have you done that? If you haven't done that, you might as well do it as of tomorrow or call them tonight. And instead of them calling and say, man, send a race seminar. I guess somebody, who is that? Some Anthony Smith coming and asking why you wasn't in Brooklyn. What's the difference whether I wasn't in Brooklyn or I was you in Brooklyn? You see, y'all do not allow Brooklyn done. The protest finished. It was a success. Now some Anthony Smith coming here. Mark, why you wasn't in Brooklyn? So wait, is Lixa you get tonight? Why you wasn't in Brooklyn? And let me ask Anthony Smith, you was in Brooklyn? Why is that relevant now, whether Benchap wasn't in Brooklyn or he wasn't in Manhattan or he wasn't in Connecticut or he wasn't? Suppose Mark Benchap asks you all this question when he used to protest in Guyana, sometimes alone. Where were you guys? But yet some of y'all want to question me why you wasn't in Brooklyn. Why you wasn't in Brooklyn? I wasn't in Brooklyn because I wasn't in Brooklyn. But people, brave people were in Brooklyn. They were standing up against injustices and they were fighting for a better Guyana. And so kudos to those who were in Brooklyn. Come and ask me why you wasn't in Brooklyn. You're my daddy? You put licks on me? Me got answer to you whether I was in Brooklyn or I wasn't in Brooklyn? Is we always come from, man? It's Friday and I know the battle ain't finished yet, but oh gosh, kind of why you wasn't in Brooklyn. These guys was just crawl out from some why you wasn't in Brooklyn. I wasn't in Brooklyn because anyways, good night and welcome to Straight Up. What else we can talk about? What else you can talk about? This is what's happening. This is what's happening. German Hercules met his death as a result of a rice mill, negligence of this rice mill. It says, father claims negligence in death of father at rice. Oh, family. I was like, family claims negligence in death of father at rice mill. This is, of course, so true. Negligence. And very often you hear about the rice millers. They allow these youngsters to go and work. Sometimes these youngsters are underpaid, and sometimes they work under strenuous conditions. And when they do that, guess what happens? When they do that, the rice millers don't care. They just don't care. They allow these youngsters, to go and work. And then when those youngsters work, guess what? They don't have proper safety measures, none whatsoever. And shame on the rice millers who do that. Shame on them. And so this young man, German Hercules, who happens to be a relative of mine, a relative of mine out there in Myconi, and let me say condolences to the family members of German Hercules. Condolences to my nephew, my niece, and their mother, Andrea. Condolences to you. We understand how you're feeling. It's just not so long ago, Andrea lost her son-in-law under similar circumstances. And again, a couple of years after, not so long after, her son, as a result of the negligence of the rice mill or the rice miller there in Guyana. And German Hercules gone, left, I believe, what is it, a 6-month-old baby, a 6-month-old baby? I don't know. But, the thing is, who is there to protect these guys? Who is there to fight for their interest? Who is there to ensure that they are compensated? Nobody. Absolutely no one is there. And no one is going to be fighting for these guys. And the mother of this young man or the wife of this young man to have some sort of proper compensation. So Andrea, if you guys know, they're probably busy with the funeral arrangements and so forth and so on. Condolences again to the family. I've had the opportunity of meeting this young man a couple of years ago, a very, very respectful young man. All right, he's no longer with us, no longer. Yolanda Moore said, just got a baby a few weeks ago. That's true, Yolanda Moore, just a few weeks ago. And he's gone. Negligence. And I hope the family gets justice, not because he's connected to me. I'm always out there for people, whether they're connected to me or not. But this is just a sad, sad situation there for the mother and the family and friends and others in the village there out in Myconi. All right, so what else is happening in your neck of the woods? Let us see here. I want to touch on some other stuff. where can we go? Let's go here. Maikoni Abari, and this is the Minister of Agriculture. Suddenly, now that his back is against the wall, kudos to the work of a few folks, including the Shadow Minister of Agriculture. His name is Vince Roy Jordan, Shadow Minister of Agriculture, now seem to be carrying the fight to the Minister of Agriculture in having the Minister of Agriculture to be transparent. And so this whole talk about an independent audit by Mustafa is just basically, just a diversion from the real culprits, the real corruption at MMA, massive corruption. We're hearing of hundreds of acres given away to friends and cronies, sold to a particular company, and all manner of things. The corruption is rampant all across the country's corruption, all across the country. And so this whole talk about an independent audit is just rice pop talk, as we would say. Remember GMC, right? Another corrupt agency, hundreds of millions of dollars missing, corruption upon corruption. He hasn't called for an independent audit for GMC. And Mustafa probably knows why he hasn't called for an independent audit. We all know why, but suddenly, because they're back against the wall, he's now pretending as though he wants an independent audit for MMA. Shame on those vagabonds, shame on those thieves, those corrupt individuals in the PPPC regime. Last evening, remember, we spoke about this. Another form of corruption. NCN is in serious problems. They are basically receiving hundreds of millions of dollars. And guess who's getting the jobs there? The friends and cronies and families of corrupt members of the PPPC. It is said that Kwame McCoy, the convicted Kwame McCoy, the criminal Kwame McCoy, who was convicted, mind you, is in the habit of hiring boys. I don't know if it's because he feels that he can get something from those boys. I don't know. Remember, according to information, there is a track record with Kwame McCoy and little boys. According to the information, we heard of a tape where he was crying for, you know what? He denied that it was his voice, but the whole world knows that it was his voice. But he denied, said that is not my voice. The U.S. State Department took away their visas from him, took away his visitor's visa. Anyways, Leslie Hamilton, you know the whole story with Julius. But back to NCN, hundreds of millions of dollars. And NCN is basically what? A family affair. Who in there with who in make him baby with who in put the man for work there, whether it's Kwame, whether it's whoever. And that is what's happening at NCN. And hundreds of millions of dollars missing. They should call for an audit of the books at NCN. Now, let me make this clear. I'm not saying that everyone at NCN is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're bad. There's some good workers. There's some good reporters, good journalists, and good workers at NCN. But the majority of cronies who are sent there to do dirty work on behalf of the dirty PPP regime, they have contaminated the entire NCN and the DPI and all these different things with little boys and who's concubine and going and work there and so forth. Within the past 2 weeks, so many people walked off the job, including the HR manager, I believe, walked off the job. But nobody's going to report that, right? And now look at what NCN has turned to. NCN has gone to the dogs. Look at who is there. Look at who. They hop up 2-3 hours at NCN because they're losing the battle. They have lost the PR battle. They have lost the battle on social media. Remember, not so long ago, it was Jock Dale who said to his supporters, then go on social media and fight. Go on social media and, well, let them come. Let them come on social media. They can't win the battle, the PR battle on social media, and they can't win it on the ground. No matter how much hundreds of millions of dollars they spend, no matter which wishy-washy they put there, whether it's that one with a ants nest here, the Dunstogs, they can't win. They can't win the battle at all. They could even take Francine Cruz and pay her bingo money. Francine can't even come close to the battle against us on social media and on the ground. Simple as that. So they're in serious trouble. The PPP is in serious trouble. They know that they will lose the general and regional elections in 2025. They know that they are on their way out. And so they're giving away things, lands and all kind of things to their friends and cronies. They're coming to the US and they're giving away and they're promising all sorts of things. And when I mean that they're promising all sorts of things, let me say this. Take warning. Those of you who are part and parcel of the corrupt scheme of the PPP regime, take warning. Those of you who are grabbing lands upon lands, take warning. The PPP knows that they have lost the elections already. They have lost it. And so they come to the United States and they try to embrace a couple of politicians who are gullible, or maybe a couple of US politicians, the low-key ones, the low-level ones who are basically gullible and they're looking for something. I do hope they're not getting gifts, you know. You know what is happening to politicians here now? I do hope they're not getting gifts. Some of them who have gone to Guyana, I hope that they have not received any gifts. I hope that the PPP didn't pay for stuff for them, airfare, hotel accommodations, trip to Kaitro Falls, and all these manner of things, and gifts, maybe gold band, earrings and what. I hope not. Now, I'm not saying that they have received anything. I don't know. But if they have, maybe they need to make a declaration. And if they haven't made a declaration, well, boom, 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 Sally, boom, boom, right? Is that what they say? Bamba lele bam 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 bam. If they haven't, you see what is happening. And look, let me say good night to my friend, State Senator Roxanne Prasad. State Senator Roxanne Prasad, who I am hearing that she is saying that things seem to be hunky-dory, and that we, those of us who are on social media and we are talking and whatever, the critics of the government, this so-called the corrupt government there in Guyana, is that no, we might not be telling the truth, that she was on some fact-finding mission. I don't know since when an excursion becomes a fact-finding mission. There was no official, that is no official so-called fact-finding mission. It was a fun-finding mission. That is what it's about. And I don't know what's the relationship between State Senator Roxanne Prasad and the PPP. I don't know. It seems to me a little bit too cozy. Now, I could be wrong, but it's the state senator who needs to answer that, whether there is indeed a cozy relationship between her and the PPP, and whether as a result of that coziness that she is just throwing a tantrum with folks who are saying that the regime is racist, that the regime is corrupt, and that the regime is discriminating against persons in Guyana, mainly persons of African descent. It doesn't mean that folks at Blackbush or Port Brant or Monrepo are not discriminated against or taken advantage of. We know of the Aziz family. We know of so many families who are of East Indian descent who are being taken advantage of by this corrupt PPP regime. But folks like Roxanne Prasad, who do not know the reality on the ground in Guyana, who do not understand the problems, who are far removed from the situation in Guyana, but because of trying to be politically correct or maybe whatever else they're trying to be, to paint a picture as though all is well in Guyana. All is not well, Roxanne. All is not well. All is not well. So you can stand, you can pose with them, and that gives them fuel. That encourages them, Senator Roxanne Prasad. It encourages these dictators to continue to do what they are doing to the people of Guyana. And maybe State Senator Roxanne Prasad just doesn't give a damn. Maybe she just doesn't give a damn. Maybe. And again, I'm saying this not any animosity towards Senator Roxanne Prasad. She, someone that I know, and I am surprised at the statements that she has made. We're yet to get some recordings of that, but this is one of the photographs. Again, they said that the Pacu Prime Minister Phillips and his high-level team are preparing for a Doing Business in Guyana conference hosted by the Guyanese American Chamber of Commerce later today. And so doing business in Guyana with a corrupt regime and posing with corrupt members of that regime and all manner of things. They discriminate every single day. But guess what? State Senator Roxanne Prasad seems to not give a damn about you guys, and especially the Guyanese constituency in Brooklyn. Now, politicians who don't give a damn about you guys, come elections time, guess what? Don't give a damn about them too. Mr. Wayne Caesar, good night and welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, Mark. A pleasant good evening to all our listeners and viewers, the freedom fighters. Good evening to you guys.
Yeah, good evening to all of them. We already, what time is it? 27 minutes after. What is your take, Mr. Caesar, as we keep the pace going here on 107.1 FM? What is your take on what's happening with some of these folks and the protests out there in Brooklyn on Wednesday?
Well, Mark, I would say that the protest in Brooklyn was a success. I agree with you on that 100%. Listen, it was just the Guyanese people, taking advantage of their democratic right. And while I do that, I have to also be fair. Okay, the owner of the establishment choose to host the PPPC. A lot of people don't agree with it based on what the PPPC has been doing down in Guyana, but also that's his or her democratic right. But as a leader, Mark, whether installed or not, if I am coming out from such a function and people are shouting out to me that I'm a racist pig, then I would really have to be concerned. It just goes to show you what is actually happening in Guyana. And it just also goes to show you that tensions are rising. The people are very, very, very frustrated. And I know you would have talked about, Miss Roxanne Prasad. I mean, Mark, if she went down to Guyana for a visit, okay? Now, if there are people who are saying that the PPPC is racist, how can you go down to Guyana and spend all the time with the PPPC and expect, you understand me, to get a different narrative? Okay, that time should have been split between the PPPC and the opposition, so you could have heard what the opposition, where the opposition was coming from. They could have taken you around also, just like the PPP had a chance to take her around and show how some Guyanese are living. Because I think the narrative that has been painted to her, Mark, it's not accurate. Roxanne Prasad and these people is not dealing with children who are going to bed hungry in the night. Roxanne Prasad is not dealing with children who is selling newspaper or controlling a little grocery store underneath the house and can't go to school because they need to make ends meet to actually, their parents to be able to feed them. Roxanne Prasad is not a pensioner in Guyana who is getting a mere $36,000 per month. You understand me? These people have no understanding what the Guyanese people are going through. But what they see, okay, is an installed regime that is in control of all the oil and all the wealth, and everybody just want a piece of the pie. Forget about the normal born and bred Guyanese. And there's where I have a problem with these people, because they sit in seats, okay? They sit in certain seats that you would want to quote unquote think that this is a very learned individual. But when you look at it, I actually beg to differ, because if you have a coin, in order to pass an evaluation on that coin, you need to look at both sides. Okay, she looked at one side, and that's the side of the PPPC. Okay, and I would call that bias in nature. I'm not trying to
on her trip, on the excursion trip. Take it easy, Mr. Caesar. Take it easy. Yeah. On her excursion trip to Guyana, it's not an official fact-finding mission. They didn't go on behalf of their political establishment. They just went on a trip. It's basically a trip, a holiday trip. There's nothing official about what they went there. She said it that it wasn't a fact-finding mission. It was just basically a trip. She is originally from Guyana, and they went there on a trip. It wasn't a fact-finding. People in Washington, D.C. Didn't send them. The Democratic Club in Brooklyn didn't send them. It was just basically a trip to have fun. Now, during the course of that trip, they went around like kings and queens and police escorts and all manner of things. They were living the good life for the few days they've spent there. And so not only living the good life in the few days that they have spent there, they also met with some opposition people. With all fairness, they met with some opposition people. And the majority of them who were on that excursion trip, eyes were open even further. And so they saw firsthand the discrimination, they saw the racism, and they saw and heard about the corruption. But at the end of the day, the position that Roxanne Prasad is taking is highly questionable. She cannot dismiss the rampant discrimination, corruption, and racism in Guyana. And it appears to me that state senator that is, Roxanne Prasad has taken a side. And the fact that she has taken a side with the oppressors, come elections time,
the Brooklynites, the people of Queens, the people of the Bronx, the people of Staten Island, the people of Manhattan, hey, they have to express their democratic rights, and they can look at what would have transpired and her decision when it comes to Guyana. And, their vote may change. Who knows? These people that hold positions, man, I just believe that they need to execute, and they need to execute fairly. They need to look at things fairly, right? At the protest on Wednesday, Ali just walked out and he ducked in and he just went into a vehicle. No, man, as a leader, you got to be able to stop and shake hands and engage the people. But he can't do that. He cannot do that. Because he knows, and the PPPC knows, what they have been doing to the Guyanese in Guyana. They are fully aware. They are fully aware of what is happening.
Well, sorry about that, guys. And fully aware. And a lot of people out in Brooklyn are already there. They have these politicians who will be up for re-elections. They have them on a microscope. And folks in the Guyanese community are already upset with these politicians, and are prepared not to vote for them, not to have them re-elected. And so some of them might suck their teeth and say, oh, they don't give a damn, they have it locked and so forth and so on. No. You do not have it locked. You cannot take such a side at all, assuming that you have taken a side, State Senator Roxanne Prasad. You cannot be so insensitive towards the majority of people within your constituency and expect everything to be hunky-dory. So it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough fight for re-election for Senator Roxanne Prasad. I've noticed Abida Monroe is saying she will not get my vote again. And there are lots of people who have taken this position to say that politicians in Brooklyn will not get their votes as long as you side with the corrupt PPP regime. You will not get the people's votes. And not only will you not get the people's votes, there will be people like us, whether we are in your district or not, will be calling on people not to vote for politicians who are insensitive towards their cry and their concerns for fairness in Guyana. So State Senator Roxanne Prasad, I'm sure you're aware of the battle ahead. Lots and lots of things ahead. Now, in moving on, we'd love to move on. Let's say goodnight to those of you who just joined us here. Anything else about the Brooklyn protest, Mr. Caesar? And I think there was one person who takes photographs out for the Caribbean Life, actually called people a hungry belly based on information. She has not denied that. What is your take on that person calling people a hungry belly?
Well, Mark, I'm not surprised. She has taken a side. She's with the PPP. The PPP has a narrative.
She has taken a side. And that side she's taken is against the people, against the protesters, against those who are fighting for them.
Right. And meaning also that she's on the side of the PPPC.
She's on the side of
what the narrative. Yes. And we know what their narrative is. Okay. All right, just like what happened. This is very similar to what would have happened to Ivor Tom. How you just call people whatever you want to call them. This is just how the guys
specifically. What is your take on the woman who called people hungry belly?
Well, listen. Well, Mark, look, you call the people hungry belly, and then you run into the car with about 6 different bowls of food. So who is really hungry belly? Okay. So she was speaking of herself. She was speaking of herself, and she should never
apart from that, how disrespectful it is for an entire set of people, not only those who are protesting, for someone like Tangerine Clark, who is supposed to be a journalist, is actually cursing people out, so to speak, and calling them hungry belly. Again,
Mark, I've spoken about this before with Guyana, and we need to have a change in standards. Okay, you heard what you just said. You said that this woman is a journalist. Journalists should be somewhat unbiased. Okay, if she's a journalist and this is her behavior, it just shows you where the standards in Guyana is, right? It shows you where the standards in Guyana is. It also, again, has shown that this woman have taken the side of the oppressors, okay? And you don't want to come out of a place and roll up a crowd that is already, a tad uneasy. The people weren't happy who was out there protesting. We had Courtney Crum Ewing's mother out there, amongst others, So there was some measure of tension there, okay? What if somebody would have held on to her or something, and thank God that didn't happen. But these people have to be very, very, very careful, Mark. And I'll tell you this, tensions is high and the government is not pivoting from their position. So in my analysis, tensions is only going to continue to get higher.
All right. Let's go to a tape and remind the people of what really transpired and what she said. There ought to be an apology from Tangerine Clark with calling people or suggesting that they might be hungry belly and they should go inside for food. Unacceptable. Totally unacceptable.
PPP, get some of them. They're running, they're coming, and yet they want to abuse people. And look, if you feel you can talk to people they know and disrespectful, but look what, she collect the food, and now she running, coming, 2 more hungry. Look, I'm checking 2 more things, see that? Look, she running with the food, she running with it, she running, yeah, good. Sandrine, you should never do that, Why you say that?
Because I gotta rile y'all up. Because listen, the whole thing is that, right?
You mind?
Okay, she is supposed to be a journalist, and she is saying there, Mr. Caesar, she got to rile y'all up. So is that her job to rile people up? Is that her job? And then she held on to that badge, say, I'm a journalist. I did this for every government. Did she do that for Bornham government? Was she really doing those things? And did she ever go the way in which she has gone out for David Granger as what we see that she's doing there now, propaganda work? Really? And so she's upset. She walks out of that so-called breakfast, walks out of that breakfast, and there it is that she's saying, I have to rile y'all up. I got to rile y'all up. So I got to say anything. Y'all heard it for yourselves. Mr. Caesar, she got to rile y'all up. Is that what this is about?
Mark,
Rile y'all up?
Mark, you know, you said it earlier on the program that the PPPC cannot win, okay, the elections of 2025. It is your belief that they cannot win it. I am with you on that. Now, Mark, if you know that you can't win something, everything goes now. Everything goes. It's damage control time. It's time to make the other side look bad. You know, and I'm thankful that the people really did not take her on or really responded to her. So she didn't get an opportunity, you know, to have anybody out there look bad. Mark, all around, you look at this, the protest on Wednesday was a tremendous success. Okay, that's my take on that. Yeah, I think that this woman is irrelevant.
Yeah, well, she is relevant based on what she said. She writes for a newspaper, and therefore she wants to make herself relevant. And what we have to do is to denounce this statement made by Tandrine Clark. I've noticed Shaw Gibson is saying here, this so-called journalist needs to lose her job for the foul, indecent words that she used to the protesters, and she's not a real journalist. That's according to Shaw Gibson out in Brooklyn. I know Shaw is upset about this whole situation. I am upset about this whole situation. All of you watching and listening should be upset. This woman is supposed to be a journalist, and she said that she wanted to rile them up, rile the audience up. Let's continue to hear what else she had to say. Rile. Take a listen, guys. Rile y'all up.
You know why I say that?
Because I gotta rile y'all up. Because listen, the whole thing is that, right?
You mind a video, right?
No, yeah, I know. The president is welcoming to anybody, right? Listen, I'm with the press, and I have been doing this for every.
So since when it is her job to defend the so-called president, to defend that puppet, to defend that man who was charged 19 fraud charges, she's not concerned about anything else. Her job as a so-called journalist is to take offense for what people are saying, the protesters were saying about Irfan Ali, calling him a racist, calling him all sorts of things, which might be correct. But she now is proclaiming herself, she's a journalist. Since when, as a journalist, her job is to defend Irfan Ali, to go at the length to say that he goes all over, he's a president, that is not her job, unless she is doing PR, unless she's being paid to do PR for that corrupt government of Guyana. Now, I'm not saying that she's being paid. I'm saying it appears that way because of the way in which she has gone out to defend them. Let's continue to hear.
I'm with the press, and I have been doing this for every government of Guyana. Rile y'all up, because listen,
she got Riley all up.
Sandrine, you should never do that, you know. Why you say that?
Because I gotta rile y'all up, because listen, the whole thing is that, right?
You mind a video, right?
No, yeah, I know. The president is welcoming to anybody, right? Listen, I'm with the press, and I have been doing this for every government of Guyana. I work. When Grange was here, I walked down Church Avenue with him. I supported, what he was doing. I wrote about.
But she did it in a professional way. At no point in time, because David Arthur Granger was a professional man, a professional president, a decent president. Unlike what Tandrine and others are doing right now, she didn't have to do that under the PNC coalition. She didn't have to do that, what she's doing now. Wait, anything else before we move on?
Yeah, Mark, there's something else I pick up in what she was just saying, and the point she was trying to make there doesn't make any sense. She speak of the president he's installed. President is welcoming of everybody. Mark, that is absolutely not correct. The president and his party is undemocratic. When they go to parliament, do they engage the opposition? When we talk about the oil industry and the massive patrimony of oil that Guyana would have found, is that managed by both parties? No, the PPP is undemocratic. How can she say that this guy is welcoming, to everybody? And Mark, to be honest, the people do not want to hear from Irfan Ali right now. His time is up. His time has run out. He's had many, many opportunities, Mark, to make this right. 4+ years. Over to you.
What is your take, though, on this woman here, Lady Ira, traveled all the way from New Jersey, picked up some sort of citation from some sort of senator's office, and claiming that she's making that presentation on behalf of the Guyanese diaspora in New Jersey. I have spoken earlier with a lot of folks from New Jersey, and they are upset about this. They're asking, what did she really say to get this citation, to rush down to Brooklyn to hand out this citation? And people have to dig deeper to find out what is really happening here. Is it really a love for country? Is it really a love for people, or self-interest? I know you have some friends in New Jersey, maybe family, maybe who knows, out in New Jersey. But what is your take when Lady Ira said that she's doing that on behalf of the Guyanese diaspora in New Jersey?
Mark, well, Lady Ira was speaking for herself, because like you, I have spoken to quite a few people out of New Jersey, and they said that she is definitely not speaking for them. And whatever little proclamation she would have given to Irfan Ali, she should have given him a proclamation of being the head of the fastest growing dictatorship in the world, because that is exactly what Guyana is. So Lady Ira could take that, and I don't know, but she is not representative of the people of New Jersey and how the people of New Jersey is currently feeling about this regime on the ground.
Apart from that, people have to start questioning their politicians. In this case, how did Lady Ira go about getting a citation for Irfan Ali? How did this all happen? When it happened, why it happened, how it happened, and so forth. And if there is that senator, quote unquote, whoever that senator is in New Jersey, who supposedly gave out this citation, we've got to find out how and why, because Irfan Ali is not deserving of this. Let's go to a video, guys, at the event inside of that so-called breakfast.
President and the cabinet leaders, and then they come to know you as Lord and Savior. I decree, God, your peace. You said break with a peace, and I break with a peace of Guyana. I pray for the Lord. I decree right now to give him wisdom. Give him wisdom to deal with international issues. And Lord, I decree your anointing and your blessings upon his family and upon Guyana. I pray for the peace of the Middle East, Israel. I pray for the peace in Ukraine. I pray for the peace between Guyana and Venezuela and all the territories that have problems. All God's people say, Amen.
This manservant has came today from a far distance from Guyana, and I thanking God for him to take him to another level, a standing level, a spiritual level. Because what he's doing, what God is doing, is a wonderful thing what God has done. God doing things for this man here, if you stand before the throne of God. I want you all to know this morning, God is here. God is hearing us and seeing me through the President of Guyana.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. But on behalf of the Senator of New Jersey, Brittany N. Timberlake, she sends greetings to you. There's a resolution here that I can't even see going to read it, but it's for the President on behalf of the diaspora living in New Jersey, and Lady Ira is the New Jersey Queen.
We invited the entire African Caribbean diaspora to come to Guyana.
Lady Ira is the New Jersey Queen. on behalf of the diaspora, the Guyanese diaspora in New Jersey. Who gave Lady Ira that power, that authority to say that she can speak on behalf of the people, the Guyanese people of New Jersey? And we've got to find out exactly how Lady Ira went about getting this citation for Irfan Ali. And we got to, those who are in New Jersey got to write to that senator's office to find out how this happened, how and why it happened. You heard that. You heard the woman is the queen of New Jersey. So all of you in New Jersey right now, look, you our queen. Sorry about that.
No,
Mr. Caesar,
I know,
go ahead.
Mark. I know. No, it's interesting.
New Jersey queen.
It's interesting how she just came out and designated herself the Queen of New Jersey. You know, and this comes back to the people. You know, you have to be careful. And even with people who come on social media and call themselves influencers, you've got to vet people, man. Don't just go ahead and give people power just like that. Make sure when you give people power and they're speaking for you that the right things are coming from their mouth. They have the people at heart and not their own individual gain at heart. Because Mark, when I see these people and I see their gain,
it's self-interest, not to cut you. I didn't get the senator, guys.
Right.
Who did she give this citation on behalf? What's the name of the senator? Anybody in the audience, did you guys hear the name of the senator she gave this citation on behalf of? Let's go back to the tape, please, Mr. Caesar.
President to the cabinet leaders, that they may come to know you as Lord and Savior. I decree, God, your peace. You know, you separate with a peace, and I pray for the peace of Guyana. Lord, I pray for the Lord. I decree right now to give him wisdom. Give him wisdom to deal with international issues. And Lord, I decree your anointing and your blessings upon his family and upon Guyana. I pray for the peace of the Middle East, Israel. I pray for the peace in Ukraine. I pray for the peace between Guyana and Venezuela and all the territories that have problems. All God's people say, Amen.
This manservant has came today from forward distance from Guyana, and I thanking God for him to take him to another level, a standing level, a spiritual level. Because what he's doing, what God is doing, is a wonderful thing what God has done. God don't think this man here, he stand before the throne of God. I want you all to know this morning, God is here. God is hearing us and seeing me through the president of Guyana.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. But on behalf of the Senator of New Jersey, Brittany N. Timberlake, she sends greetings to you. There's a resolution here that I can't even see going to read it, but you know, it's for the president on behalf of the diaspora living in New Jersey, and you know, Lady Ira is the New Jersey Queen.
We invited the entire African Caribbean diaspora to come to Guyana.
Who really? Did you guys get the name of the senator? I noticed Clinton Hollingsworth, and he does his thing, mind you. He's on Facebook. He turns his camera on. He talks. He exposes what's happening. Good work, Clinton Hollingsworth. This is what Clinton Hollingsworth is saying. That lady, meaning Lady Ira, that lady does not represent him as a New Jersey resident. So people are speaking out. She doesn't represent them. And if you do not represent Guyanese in New Jersey, do not give Irfan Ali a citation on behalf of the people of New Jersey. Give it, go around and try to get it and give it, so that probably is self-interest. But it's not on behalf of the people, the Guyanese community in New Jersey. Stop the nonsense, Lady Ira. Stop it. Mr. Wayne Caesar?
And Mark, you used the word, and I think I used it earlier also, self-interest. Everybody that was at that establishment, 90-something% of the people that was there at that establishment on Wednesday was there based on self-interest. Okay? New York senators, I don't care. They were all there based on self-interest. They don't give a hoots about the people. They do not care about the poor people anymore. Right? And that is what has to change. That is what has to change. The people in Guyana have to be resounding in 2025. All the people, all 6 ethnic groups, or else they will lose Guyana. Look, you can see what is happening here. And this is typical divide and conquer. We have seen this picture before. Let's not act like if we have not seen this before. We've seen it before. And look, decades later, we're getting a replay. All right? We are learned on what's happening here. So we need to stop it. We need to stop it. They're not going to be successful. Another point I wanted to make quickly, because I see that we're coming up on program time. Another point I wanted to make quickly. I had the honorable leader of the AFC on last Saturday. And Mark, he indicated to me that they would have written to GCOM Mark multiple times with no response. I know I shouldn't be posing a question like, this is your show, but I want your thoughts on that. Because it concerns me.
I've spoken much about that. The leader of the AFC and those guys got to do more fighting on that. And so let them go in front. Let the leader of the AFC and those folks, let them focus on going in front of GCOM every single day and address the issue. To ask a question and address it and just mouth talk all the time, it's not sufficient. I've noticed, and be back to this protest and be back to these folks mama guying. Sorry, Wayne, that I just dismissed that. I'm just not too pleased with a lot of things that those guys are just coming on here and mouthing off every minute. And now I just want to say that what Lady Ira and the others are doing there in New Jersey might very well turn around and hurt the candidate that she proclaims to be representing. And that candidate, you guys can, I think the folks are saying is some Timberlake. And if in fact you guys have to write to this office, this is Timberlake, and she files long anticipated state Senate bid. State Senate Democratic Assemblywoman near certain to win redrawn 34th district. And so this is the state senator who Lady Ira grabbed, a citation for, and took it to the installed corrupt racist president of Guyana. Is this something that the Timberlake, is this something that Timberlake's office sanctioned? And those of you who are in New Jersey, and even if you are not in New Jersey, you need to flood her office with calls and letters and emails and so forth. You've just got to do that, guys. You've got to do it. Because if you don't do it, then folks like Lady Ira would want to keep repeating the same nonsense over and over again. And they think that they're doing something that's nice. They're doing it in the name of Guyana. They want to live in peace and harmony. Self-interest. That is what it's about. Self-interest. Before we prepare to wrap up, what's going on with your program tomorrow? Anything big?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a few issues to discuss on my program. Also, I will delve a little bit more into the Joel Dotson situation.
What is the Joel Dotson situation for many folks who don't?
Well, it's a young man from the Tushen area with the Wash Bay that has someone from Anil Nandalal office harassing him consistently, and this has been over a period of years. That young man has shown a lot of patience. I've spent a lot of time with him on the phone chatting, and it's a decent young man. He is not a person who was given a job by the PPP. like most Guyanese, he had to create employment for himself, you know. And when you have to do that, and then somebody's coming and trying to take that away from you, you know, it just paints a picture, you know. And that's a woman of Indo-Guyanese descent. And again, like I said, the racial tensions, it's picking up. I don't know if it is that she gets up in the morning and when she looks through the window and she sees a Guyanese of African descent, you know, working hard, you know, if it bothers her, because he's achieving, he's doing well for himself and his family. So I don't know if that bothers her, because, you know, usually in Guyana, when you talk about wealth, over 90% of the wealth, you know, is owned by Guyanese of East Indian descent, you know, and that to me is not by chance, that is by design. So the few Guyanese of African descent now that is trying to do, you know, better for themselves, a lot of them, you know, if they don't have the police running into their houses and saying that there's drugs there, amongst other things, you know, they're always, you know, under oppression by this regime. The same regime that would have promised 50,000 jobs, and the Guyanese people cannot even see 15,000 jobs. So I'm going to delve a little bit into this young man's story. Also, he would have visited the ERC, and the ERC would have spoken with him and told him that they would have also spoken to the young lady in question.
So
and
tomorrow,
the young lady, yes.
Yeah. So tomorrow, that's what you'll be dealing with.
That's one of the things that I'm going to be dealing with.
Thank
you know,
you.
But there's other things also that I'm going to touch on.
So, folks, I noticed that you've got to carry the pressure on these individuals. You cannot just allow them to believe, the likes of a Lady Ira and them, believe that they could disrespect the Guyanese community, that they have the authority to speak on behalf of the Guyanese community just like that. As they would say in Guyana, just so dry. And you guys have to fight back. You guys have to find ways in which you will fight back against these enablers. We address them as enablers because that is what they are about, just themselves. There's nothing about opening mall and who opening mall and these sort of things. It's self-interest. That is what it's about, self-interest. So I want you guys, as suggested earlier, to get in touch with this state senator who's running for the office, Timberlake, to get in touch with her office. This is the information. This is her email address, guys. This is her email address. The hundreds of you who are watching this program right now, and many of you who are in New Jersey, you can write to Brittany Timberlake's office. This is her contact information. Email address is senatortimberlake@njleg.org. And her telephone number is there. You guys can call her office as of tomorrow, as of Monday. Just imagine if she gets over 500 phone calls on Monday morning. Just imagine if she gets over 500 emails from you guys as of Monday morning and over the weekend. You guys have just got to do it. If you don't do it, if you do not do it, the enablers will continue to do the nonsense that they're doing. I will be calling the state senator's office. I will be sending the state senator an email to register my disgust with what Lady Ira did. So please, you guys, do the same. Do the same. Your closing remarks, please, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, Mark. First, I want to thank you for having me on tonight. Listen, my closing remarks would be to the Guyanese people. We need to continue to educate each other. I feel like on the ground, there's a bit of lack of education as to what is happening. And, you know, we need to educate each other. What's happening to Guyana is total divide and conquer. We don't have a government that both sides is operating and working with each other. So therefore, we're wide open. the two main parties that sit in parliament, they're at war. So while they're at war, you know, the resources of the country is being extracted and taken out of the country. We have to pay attention. All right. We can solve issues right on the ground in Guyana if it is that we want to. If it is that Guyana was not up for sale and deals would have already been made, amongst other things, we could have been solving all the issues that are pertinent to the country right on the ground in Guyana. Every minute you see our politicians flying out to the United States, amongst other countries, to discuss issues pertinent to Guyana, and the decisions are being made on foreign soil. This is not a good look for the Guyanese people. And I would like to really encourage the Guyanese people to really vet their leaders and make sure that they're putting their votes in the right place. Pray about it. Pray about it. Spend your time in meditation as to where your vote should actually be placed. Mark, again, thank you. And I want to thank everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Wayne. Caesar, tomorrow, 7 o'clock it is, right? Your ear time, 7 o'clock?
7 p.m. sharp, yes.
7 o'clock sharp, right?
Yes.
7 o'clock sharp.
Sharp, yes, very sharp.
Wayne, I know you've had a busy week in the office. Thank you, as always, for all that you do. And people seem to want more and more of Wayne Caesar. A good night to all of you. But again, let me just remind you guys, this is the state senator on whose behalf Lady Ira handed out that proclamation, that so-called proclamation or citation. Lady Ira said she did it on behalf of the Guyanese diaspora in New Jersey. That is not so. Most people in the Guyanese diaspora there in New Jersey are upset at this. And the state senator, Timberlake, will have to explain how and why that citation was given to Irfan Ali. For those of you who wish to call the state senator's office or email her, this is the information. You guys can, as one person suggested, that you can screenshot. You can screenshot the information. Thank you so much, Renee McKenzie Talbot, who's saying screenshot it, everyone. Screenshot it. Call the number. Call the state senator's office. Let us flood the office with hundreds of calls, hundreds upon hundreds of calls. Maybe we can do a telethon at that on Monday to call the office, hundreds of you, and send hundreds of emails as well. It has got to stop. Lady Ira, not in the Guyanese people's names did you give that so-called citation to Irfan Ali. Hell no. Mr. Caesar, thank you so much. See you tomorrow at 7 o'clock right here on 107.1 FM. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Good night, everyone.
And to all of our listeners, wherever you are, thank you all so much. Peggy, how are you? Peggy's saying, how come Mr. Washington? I don't know. What Washington is that? Who is Washington? Lachman Aziz, good night. All of you, good night. I can't call all of your names, but hey, I know you guys are going to do the right thing by calling the senator's office. Good night, Miss Simon. Call the senator's office. Call the state senator's office. Let her know. Even if you have to start sending the email out tonight, do it, guys. We can do it. Even if you have to protest in front of the state senator's office, let it happen. Let it happen. And we will make it happen. Even if you have to protest in front of the offices of those folks, those politicians in Brooklyn, like State Senator Roxanne Prasad and others, do it. We can make it happen because the IPAS is not going to continue. It has got to stop. Thank you all so much. I'll be back on Monday, same place, same time. God bless you all. Have a great rest of the weekend. And to those folks in Brooklyn, in Linden, gosh, thank you, Sharma Solomon, the mayor of Linden. Thank you to the deputy mayor. Thank you to the regional chairman and others who are standing up for Lindeners. Thank you so much. The leadership of the opposition. Oh, some bumps are going to raise right now, right? All of them should have gone up to Linden there People are no longer going to Linden. Thank you, Sharma Solomon. Thank you, the mayor. Thank you, the chairman, Deron Adams. Thank you, the deputy mayor. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. I'll stay quiet until Monday. Trust me. God bless you. So long.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Su? Oh, Su.